everybody. Welcome to Unmasked. My name is Caris, Snider, and I'm so glad to have you join us today. If this is your first time watching Unmasked, what we do here is we talk about real hurts, but we also talk about how to have real hopes in those hurts, in those struggles, in those hard times that you're going through that so many of us have dealt with, but we're hiding it, we're masking it. And what we do here every week is we unmask those hurts and we walk through those together so that you know that you're not alone. This has been such a joy and a treat for me to walk this road with you. So I hope you guys have enjoyed it as well. Very quickly, you can find us on Facebook. You can also find us on Spectrum 180 and the Roku. And we are really excited about the new podcast that we have up as well, that you can find on all the different podcast streaming methods. So look for us in those locations. You'll find some great materials, some encouragement, great shows here on My Coleman TV. So over the last few weeks, what have we been talking about? We've been talking about anxiety, right? And we've been talking about what that feels like, what those triggers could be. Last week, we talked about how you can cope with anxiety if you're dealing with that right now. Again, we'll go back through those numbers. 264 million worldwide adults are battling anxiety. 40 million in the United States, 18% of the population of adults are dealing with some form of anxiety. So if that was you the last few weeks, I hope that you know that you're not alone. But maybe you've watched over the last few weeks and you've thought to yourself, I don't really struggle with anxiety, but I have a friend or a coworker or a family member, and they're having a really hard time. And you want to be there for them. You want to say the right thing, but maybe you feel like you've been walking on eggshells because you don't know how to help them, and you maybe have felt awkward. And so what we want to do today is help you know how you can support those around you who are struggling and going through a hard time, because I know that you're out there. I remember when I was really dealing with my anxiety and depression, I was very ashamed. I felt very guilty. I felt like a burden to those around me, but the friends, the family members, my husband, who let me know they were there for me and were willing to walk the road with me helped me greatly. And so that's what I want to kind of give you some tips on what they did that was helpful for me. I can tell you the most important thing that those around you who are struggling is they want to know they are loved and they're not alone, that you love them in spite of what they're dealing with, what they're struggling with, because what their brain and their mind is telling them is that they're not loved, they are a burden, and that they're not needed. So when you can walk through these methods to help them and support them, it's just that reminder to punch back at the lie that's telling them that they're not loved. So that's what you're wanting to do. You're wanting to just be there and be a support for them. So first of all, what I would like to encourage you to do is what not to say. I can tell you that I used to be on the side that believed, and I always hate to admit this, but this is true. I used to be that person who did not think anxiety or depression were real. And the phrases that I would use when people would come to me for counseling or even prayer would be things like, you need to calm down. You need to just suck it up. You need to pray harder, work harder, try harder, read your Bible more, do more. It was not very compassionate. It was not very helpful. And what I didn't realize is what I was doing is I was dismissing those feelings that those people were really having. And they were already feeling shame and feeling embarrassed. And so what I did is I heaped that on them. So some phrases you want to avoid are things like, calm down. There's no reason for you to be afraid. There's no reason for you to be worried. Again, things like telling them to just suck it up or try harder. All of those things are things that they're already telling themselves. So phrases that you could try instead are, take a deep breath. I'm here with you. We'll get through this together. And I know that what you're feeling is very uncomfortable and scary for you. It's okay if you don't understand. It's okay if you're not feeling those things, but for you to recognize those things with those statements will help their brain to snap out of that emotional place where people are going to turn their backs on me if I tell them. So when you fight back and say, hey, I'm here for you, take a deep breath, and we're going to walk through this together, it will calm them down and let them know that they are not alone. The second thing, which most of you who are watching this that are wanting to help your friends, what you're wanting to do is fix them, right? You're wanting to fix them, fix their problem because you are a fixer. So I want you to take the pressure off of yourself today, because here's the deal. You're not going to be able to fix them. You're not going to be able to fix their problem, and you're not going to be able to understand it unless you've been through it. So understand you can't fix it. You cannot solve their problem. What is really happening inside of them is they can't fix it either. They don't understand. They don't know what's going on. So it's hard for them to help you understand. So take that pressure off of yourself today. You're not going to be their fixer. You're not. Third thing is avoid giving them too much space. I can remember I would tell people, I just want to be alone. I just want to be by myself. And that was kind of I just went to that because I didn't know what else to say. Really and truly, I didn't want to be alone. I didn't want to be by myself. That was the last thing that I wanted to be. So avoid giving them too much space because they're already embarrassed and they're not going to ask you to stay, but kind of read between the lines and know that that anxiety and depression is already making them feel guilty and ashamed. So if you give too much space, it's going to heap on abandonment. So now they're abandoned. So what you want to do is you can stay, but you don't have to say. All right, so stay, but you don't have to say. Just be there. Just be present with them, and that speaks volumes. And I know that that may go against every fiber of your being to not say anything and to just sit in silence, but that will speak the loudest to them in that moment. And again, this is going to be our fourth thing. Just be there. Be a friend. Treat that friendship like you do every other friendship. You don't have to talk about anxiety or depression or their struggles all the time. That may make them truly feel like they are burdening you and they are just wearing you out and taking from you. So you want to treat that friendship just like you do all your other ones. Talk about life. Talk about your kids. Talk about fun things that are going on. And then when they are wanting to talk about it, let them talk. Be willing to ask them questions if they bring up something made them feel anxious. Maybe say, how did that make you feel when that event happened to you? Or if they're talking about a worry in their life, ask them more questions and just say, tell me about it. What is that worry? So that way you're not having to carry that burden on your own. Let me help you. So you want to have a friendship where they are able to share their struggles, but you're also able to share your struggles as well, and you're both able to share the joys of that friendship. Number 5, have some laughter. Laughter truly is medicine for the soul. So maybe plan something fun for you and your friend to do. Go have coffee or go out for a girls' night or a friend's night or whatever it is that you need to kind of get out and change up the environment, change what they're doing. And when you can add that laughter in, it really is medicine for the soul because it allows you to have that dopamine, that serotonin that needs to flow through your brain to happen. And it gives you that natural hormone that's helping you feel good. So you can offer that distraction to your friend. And finally, number 6, do not be afraid to say, me too. Me too. I've been there where you are. And be willing to share that part of your life and that part of your story. I know at times those things, those struggles are hard to share, but when your friend realizes that you've been where they are and now you're on the other side of it, what you're doing is you're giving them hope. But on the other spectrum of that, maybe you don't have a Me Too story, but what you can offer them is the truth, that you haven't been where they are, but you realize that what they're dealing with is real. And if you will acknowledge that what they're dealing with is real, that as well will help them to know, my friend knows this is real, this is happening to me, and they haven't given up on me, so I'm not going to give up on myself. So that right there is 6 things that you can do, that you can try this week, throughout this month, and throughout your friendship and your relationship with those people who are struggling in their life, to truly help them and to be a part of their journey and to grow close with them. So next week, what we're going to talk about is self-care. How can you take care of yourself so you don't reach that point of burnout? You don't reach that point where you feel overwhelmed all the time, and you can truly go and live your life in hope and thriving the way God intended for you to live. Thank you guys for joining us here on Unmasked, and we will see you next week.